Is someone there recording the shir?
What?
Did you say something for us, Shlomo?
Yes, I can't, my recording is not working from the phone. So is someone there recording the shir today?
Oh,
Not so far.
No. You know that?
I didn't even call it.
Is it possible? Because, okay, now it's recording. Okay, it's fine. Now it's recording from now. Okay.
Now it's recording? Okay.
Yeah, but we should record it anyway. You know that, you mind? Since we don't
Should I dial into the
You don't have to dial in. It's okay. There's nobody there.
Okay. This union that he senses himself as separate from Malkuth completely does not represent the reality. Rak only she'eino murgish habitul. He's not sensitive to this bit. But yet still, despite the fact that they're not sensitive to the beetle, they are bottled to Alakus. Alkoponim in either way of their reaction. They are bottled to Alakus and they are receiving the effect of this beetle. And on that basis we could say the beetle that this beetle that they may not be admitting to it, nevertheless moyil, it has the effect alkoponim. Alkoponim means at the minimum, even though it's not a real beetle, that they really relate to it. Even the minimal amount of beetle that they do recognize is sufficient that they should be able to be lekabel chayus me'elakus, that they should be able to receive chayus from Malakus. Chayus me'elakus from Malakus. The info chayus, we try to break through it and get us some sense of what we mean by chayus. The word lekabel chayus me'elakus, to receive chayus me'elakus, may be misleading in a certain sense, in that it seems that in our terminology, it would denote something that is being given. In other words, you are here and I'm here and I'm giving you from here to there. I'm passing it on to you. This is lekabel, to receive. This is not what is intended over here. Because chayus is not being transmitted from the source to any place. Chayus can only be effective if you are close to it directly. You're in it. Most of this was the air that we breathe.
I'm sorry, what was this? Breathing. Oh, okay.
The air that we breathe does not, we don't breathe because it's being sent into us, but because we are part, inside us. Chayus, which is even more sensitive than the breathing. This is why the term is chayus from Malakus. Why chayus from Malakus? Chayus, and wherever it comes from, it comes from. That is not a correct interpretation. Chayus is exclusively by a connection to Alakus. So therefore, how can we use the terminology makabel, receiving? Receiving seems to be speaking about something that you receive away from the source. It's given to you. The reason for the terminology makabel is that ultimately this chayus, even though it is representing the principle of being part of Alakut, being insiders. As insiders, the creatures, the creation, is a recipient of the chayus. Why is it called the recipient of the chayus? Because the chayus permeates its entire being. It does not relate to itself as a being that receives chayus from Alakut. Kabbalah achayus in the pshat that it is internal to the chayus. And this is why this is the necessity of bitul. Because in order to receive chayus, you have to be an insider. You can't take the chayus away from its source. And this is why we say that regardless of the level of the consciousness of the sensitivity, there is the inner beetle in every creature, because it must receive chayus from Alakut. And the line begins now, Kuli, 3 lines on the bottom. Ukenoide, as is known, the hakei li lekabbalah chayus from Alakut. That the keli, the vessel, the means by which one receives, accepts the chayus from Alakut. Who habitul dafka. The keli for that is the bitul. Dafka means exclusive. Bitul dafka means that he discounts his own mitzius. He does not reinterpret himself as being an entity who receives chayus from Alakut. His presence is insignificant in this presence, in this entity, this experience. There's another notch I have to add over here. This is an important Indian for us all to realize. The Gemara says, you have this little calf that wants to suckle from the mother, and it's constantly running after the mother to suckle. The mother says that the mother providing the suckling and providing this opportunity is more anxious to give it than the calf is looking to get it. This is illustrating even at this low level what the calf and the mother are two separate entities. When you're talking about the Elokos and the beetle, the receiving chayus Elokos, the Elokos is entirely forcing itself into all its creatures. Elokos wants to be mechayev the creation more than the creatures are anxious to receive chayus. So all that the creature needs to be able to get the highest is bitul, is to accept it. Because the provision of the highest itself is completely administered and forced by the Elokut itself. This is why bitul is sufficient. On the one hand, you say bitul is tremendous, but bitul does not actually effectuate the receptacle of chayes. Bitul is not something that you know what you're taking. So how do you receive chayes? The answer is you don't need to know what you're taking, because the chayes of the Elokut itself is providing for all that you need in order to receive it. As long as you allow him to bring himself in, to bring chayes in. This is why bitul is all that's needed. Thank you. Thanks, Lord. Having said that, we ought to reflect on the result of this chayes that's provided by Elokut. If there were some kind of a impetus on the part of the world, upon the recipient of what he received to seek it, then what he receives is automatically identified by what he's looking to get. There's some effect to what he gets because by what he's looking for. But here we're saying that all that is necessary is bitul, which means that what he is getting is not what he's looking to get. He is getting what the chayes and the Elokut wants to give him. And I said, when we reflect on this, we realize that we are getting there Elokut as it is in its own cognizance, not how we interpret it. And this is why we say the Keli, Lekabala Chayes Melekut, is the bitul davka, is exclusively bitul. Because if you receive it not to bitul, you receive it through your own interpretation, it's not Elokut in its purity. It's how you interpret it. Okay, now at the end of that line, the brethren and the psukim. Then begins kulik. U'kmeisha kosu, as the pasuk clearly says, Yiras Hashem, Yiras Avaya Lechai. Yiras Hashem. This is what brings Elokut in Chaim, into love. Which means, in our terminology, the hakeli lechayos, that the receptacle for chayos or yiro bitul. The keli for chayos is yiro bitul. Again, the significance of this is yiro bitul allows the chayos to come in its full purity, as it interprets itself, not as the recipient recognizes it. This is why Yira Shemai Yira is a prerequisite to be an Eved Hashem. You can do all the mitzvahs. I'm told, I'll do what you told me to do. It's not sufficient. We need a total union with Elokut, so that you have a real present Elokut in your mitzias, in your chayes. That is possible only through year of bitul. Year of bitul, how do we identify it in our own, in our world, so to speak? This is Elokut. How do we identify it in the world?
What's the translation of Yira?
Fear.
Fear.
Or fear in our terminology. I'm afraid that you'll be punished. This is not what it is. Yira means awe, and the reason you have awe is because you recognize the presence of something awesome. Awesome means, again, not because it's threatening, but because it's great.
We're using Yira and Bitul as synonymous here, yeah?
It's not synonymous, but they come together. As a result of Yira, there is Bitul. What is Bitul add to Yira? Bitul means that whatever this greatness provides for me, I'm accepting it. I'm not accepting it by my own judgment, my own sense of what I'm getting. I am just a receptacle. Whatever he feeds me, that's what I get. This is Yiro Bitul. And that is the Keli, the Kabbalah's Chayes Malakos. This is why the Rebbe repeats every time Kabbalah's Chayes Malakos. You can live without that full-fledged union with Elokut. But then that life is reinterpreted at your level. It becomes, so to speak, life at the world. Yes, I see things, I feel things, I know things, I understand things. This is how the Chayes is translated in my own experience. Let's take this a little further. The truth is, we see is a miracle, is a divine miracle. Even at this simple level, it's a divine miracle. The old Tzeiches is a divine miracle, but sight is clearly a divine miracle. We don't begin to understand the phenomenon of sight. I've been struck many times. We see way beyond that which we surmise to be. So therefore, sight is clearly a divine miracle in our own home, so to speak, in our own experience. But we're not conscious of this. We're conscious of this is what we are. This is what sight is. I asked many times. This is important. That's why I'm rehashing it. Do you think the dog running at full blast goes into a park and starts running at full speed in circles? You think the dog will have you sees the same thing that you see? You think he interprets the vastness of where he is the way we see it? He sees it only that there is space to run. This is why he expresses it that way. We stand there in awe. Wow, take a look at this.
You know, the designers of the park
The designers of the park wanted to have the aha effect when one turned the corner.
Somebody's coming from Lakewood. Should I answer it or not? I don't want to interrupt you. You answer it. See what about the goodness. Okay?
Hello? Hello?
All right.
No answer.
No answer.
You're describing your experience when you walk to the park with your wife, yeah? And you see the dogs running around.
Hello?
Yes, hello. I'm here.
I'm really sorry.
Give it to me.
I'm calling. I'm calling. I'm
done
calling.
it. What are you done it for?
Yeah, please. I'll tell you, because I have problems with the video.
Okay, so you're on speaker. Listen on the phone. Mute.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Again, we have 3 lines on 2 lines from the bottom. On page from hay. We're gonna say two of the larger line on the narrow is the 3rd line.
The beginning of the paragraph, and the parenthesis, right?
Yeah.
V'lochen.
So
Yeah. Look.
we're going into the parentheses now?
Yeah.
We understand the principle. The key for receiving chayos from Elokut is yiro bitul. Let me bring this down to the practical human sense. I'm receiving chayos. I'm learning chassidus. What do I expect from this learning? What drives me to learn it? To become a lam? To be able to show what I'm able to understand, to know. Does it enhance my mitzias at all? I'm learning, I'm spending so much time learning. It's important to recognize your learning is insignificant if that is what its effect is. You're completely misinterpreting what's being fed to you. It's reminiscent of about I mentioned Abraham Mayor, we should say, you take bread and wrap around your belly.
Shlomo, put your phone on mute.
You wrap bread around your belly. It's not going to feed you. You showed your appreciation of bread, but it's not going to do anything for you. The Yirul Beetle is not that you should have the title that you are a Yirul Shamayim. Yirul Beetle is to make you, to connect you to the Lakus that you have the Yirul for. How does Yira translate? We are after all in the world. How does Yira translate at our level? To make it short, every time I pick up a piece of food, my first question is it permissible food? Not does it look good? Does it smell good? Is it attractive? Not even if it's healthy. Is it permissible? Is it kosher? Does the Torah, does the Lakus say this is edible for you? That's the first question.
Mm-hmm.
Because the whole phenomenon of food is that which you get from a Lakus. So the Lakus has to come first before you come to the food part. An interesting thing that can come as we discuss it. We all know that one principle way we celebrate Shabbos or Yom Tov is by a sud.
By what?
A sud, a meal. A meal is part of worldly experience. How does a sud represent Shabbos and Yom Tov? That is possible, and that is due to the fact that when we see a meal, we see only the fact that this meal is prepared, is presented by Lukus, by the mitzvah. This is not food per se. One comes in to a Sukkot Shabbos, so Yom Tov, whatever it is, say, oh, what a good food. He's misinterpreting completely what he sees. Totally. What a beautiful Shabbos table. What joy is represented here. That is more in line already. If the first thing he sees is how good the food is, he misses the whole point. It's conceivable, this is just not occurred to me, I'm just suggesting, that this is maybe the reason that we are covering the challah before we make a bracha, because you're not supposed to see the food. Not what it looks like to you. You uncover it after you're going to make the bracha. The bracha is made from perspective of this is Shabbos food, this is not food per se. You make kiddush, and you make a bracha, then you open the challah. Then the challah becomes part of your world. Again, I'm going back to the third line from the bottom. Ukenoide as is now. The hakeli, that the vessel, the receptacle, the kabbalah is a highest melokus. To receive the highest from melokus, you can be living because it's feeding you in for highest. But this is not highest from melokus. Kabbalah's highest melokus means that the elokus becomes identified. You identify with the elokus that you're makabel chayes from, not the effect that it has on you. And the key for that is habitul daf. It is exclusively the beat, the dedication, the cognizance that all you have is the elokus element, and anything that you touch it on account of the fact that you're doing something that Alkus wants you to do. Which is Kabbalah's highest from Alkus.
Can I ask something?
Yes, sir.
Okay, my phone was not working, and so was on and off. I was not able to listen to the entire sheet somehow. But I heard it was being explained today that from Malakus, the highest from Malakus, it's not that you take it for yourself, but you are there to get, you are there in the source. And the muscle was given about air. It's not that you separate the air from you, but you are in it.
Yes.
Then was asked, why do you call it lekabel? Lekabel means that you do receive it. What was the answer for that?
The answer is that it becomes internalized. Because Kabbalah is a chayus, just like I said before. Then when you eat, It looks good, but you cannot survive by it's looking good and smelling good. It has to be digested, chewed up and digested and put in internalized. Chayes and Lakus is similar here. The Lakus has to be accepted internally. And,
in other words, there is an element of being mekabel, like disassociating from the source, if it becomes internalized. Is that correct?
No, not this. No. It can only be internalized if you are associated to the source. I get you. Very important. Very important. Not at all. We always use the marshal for this. There's a ready marshal in our world, something in this vein. Breathing air. We take air internally into our nostrils and breathe it in, and we take it into our lungs and so forth. The experience of life that air provides, and again, we all experience that. If you go on and say, we feel the freshness, the cleanness of the air, we say, a breath of fresh air. This experience is not the air that you take into the nostrils. This is this experience of feeling the air that surrounds you.
So there does remain a personal experience, and that implies a limit to the bitul. It's not bitul b'metzius. There's a me that's experiencing.
Well, the air, emotion from the air, then it's correct to what you say. Because there is not any kind of a demand from the air in terms of, okay, you get chayes from the air, so therefore what? How do you behave as a result of the fact that you receive chayes from the air? Does that make any changing you? Says no. So that it can be that is in line with what you say. But Kabbalah's chayes from Lakus is different. Lakus, to go straight to it, Lakus does have a message, does have an identification, a meaning of what kind of life it wants to see you live. The air doesn't care how you live.
Right. But so too with that example, Kabbalah's chayes Melakus, there is the individual. It is internalized by an individual. I think that was Shlomo's question, that the individual does not sort of merge into, he's not a drop in the ocean that is lost. He remains an individual. That's quite interesting. Yet he's completely mevatel. It's like both.
So,
Yeah.
I was saying, so you can, right there you contradict it.
I know we say
no, it's
both.
not. But so we say no. Kabbalah's chayes Melakus is when you become internal with the Lakus, which means, as I said, just one second, that before that, everything you think of doing, your identification with that thing that you want to do is not what you want to do, but is it a Lakus? The reason that you see it is because it's a Lakus. Yes.
2 minutes left.
2 minutes left. Okay, let's make these minutes count.
I'm still trying to get some words on it. And on one hand, it's you are the bitul, meaning to say that you are in it, and on the other hand, you internalize it. To take it internally and still remaining the bitul that it's in the source. It's not. I'm not fully.
So he wants to say, if you're internalizing something,
then it becomes yours. You do with it what you want.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is exactly what we're saying. You can internalize it only if you become one with it. You follow each other. There's no other way for you to internalize. Again,
and you're able to internalize it, and even not to cut off from the source. This is also
you will not what?
Cut off from the
not
source.
cutting off from the source.
No, that's the only way to internalize. This is internalize means only, that's what it says. You allow the chayas to enter. You don't take it in. You don't know what you're taking.
Oh, that got it.
Like that.
Internalize, that is internalization. It does sound like something leaving Kusa rather than becoming sort of.
That's the way it reaches. This is why we point out. As you in here, you still have to allow the way to nostrils. But the only way that will happen is if you are part of it.
No. Isn't that terrible?
Yes, it is.
Tell him to stop the Zoom.
What?
You can disconnect. Can't you?
No, it doesn't let me do it. Okay, please disconnect the Zoom. Yeah, doesn't work. Look.
Photo. Now you're on Zoom. See, leave.